Over the last decade, there have been 50 high schools that have had 4 players or more selected in the NFL draft, and 17 of those 50 are from the state of Florida, led by St. Thomas Aquinas with 18 overall selections. Yo, what's up guys? I'm Zach Poff, MaxPreps National Football Editor. I'm getting excited. We got the NFL draft coming up this week on Thursday, and we're going to start looking at some of the high school football factories that have produced the most talent over the last decade. And we all know St. Thomas Aquinas is king when it comes to this. And over the last 10 years, there are only 2 other high schools that have had at least 10 players or more selected, and both are also in Florida. IMG Academy has had 14, and they had 7 last year alone, which set the new record for most draft selections by any high school in a single draft. Some notable dudes to come from IMG include Cesar Ruiz, Greg Newsome II, and Grant Delpit. And then Miami Northwestern has had 11 players selected that include the likes of Amari Cooper, Teddy Bridgewater, and Levante David. The last school from Florida we're going to hit on is American Heritage. They've had 9 players selected over the last decade, and they would have set the record last year if it wasn't for IMG Academy. They had 6 players selected in last year's draft, headlined by Patrick Surtain II and Tyson Campbell, and a few other notable selections from Heritage include Sony Michel, Brian Burns, and Isaiah McKenzie. Now heading over to the West Coast, we're taking a look at California, and Gardena Serra has bragging rights. They've had 9 players selected over the last 10 years, and that's currently tied for the 5th most out of any high school in the country. And some notable dudes include Robert Woods, Adoree Jackson, Marquise Lee, and Paul Richardson. And then looking at last year's MaxPreps National Champs, Modern Day High School out in Santa Ana, California, they've had 4 players drafted in the last 10 years. I expect that number to grow in the next few years because they've had some of the best teams in the country, and some notable selections include Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was on that 2017 Modern Day team, which I believe is the best high school football team of all time, and also includes guys like Matt Barkley and Khalid Holmes. And Long Beach Poly is tied with Modern Day with 4, and a couple of ballers from Poly include Juju Smith-Schuster and Imam Marshall. And we're looking at Texas. Allen High School has had the most players selected over the last 10 years with 8, which is currently the 6th most in the country. And of course, the headliner from Allen High School is Kyler Murray. He was the number 1 overall selection in 2019 by the Arizona Cardinals, and you can make a strong case he's the best high school football quarterback of all time. He finished his prep career going 42-0 as a starter, won 3 state titles, and Allen was named the MaxPreps National Champ in 2014. And if you want to check out the full list of every single high school that has produced 4 players or more in the NFL draft over the last decade, just go to MaxPreps.com. And also earlier this week, we broke down and looked at every single player that has been selected, and Florida was king with 326 overall selections in the last decade. I'm Zach Poff here on MaxPreps.com.